How are you?
Fine, thank you for asking.
I miss you.
Then why didn't you call in the last year to talk to me? You didn't even call on my birthday to talk to me. Or my sister's birthday, my twin. Hey, your actions, your past actions don't speak to the fact. You can say it all you like, but it doesn't change the past. It doesn't change the fact that you did not call and what you've done to this family.
I can understand being really angry at me about that.
No, I'm not angry. I'm here for closure. Okay? If we're ever to get a relationship, it's going to be one based off of truth and honesty. And if you can't do that, then there's no reason for us to have a relationship. Okay?
I understand that. I agree. And on your birthday, I didn't know what to do. And our last conversations, because we have talked on the phone, have been really painful, and I wasn't sure.
Painful or to the point?
They were very difficult.
That doesn't answer the question. Who was being honest and who wasn't?
I always try to be honest with you. I don't lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to be honest right now. I didn't know what to do, so I put messages on your Facebook pages telling you that I was proud of you and telling you that I loved you and I always would.
Oh.
I don't remember exactly what was the wording on those pages, but I am proud of you.
You see, the thing on Facebook is you blocked me.
Only after
I posted the truth.
I don't.
Or was it because you were afraid that I'd said too much? And that your friends would see me for who I was?
I wanted, I'm sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Why did Isaac Knight attack me? A person he didn't even know. He's never talked to in depth. He hasn't even met me in person. Yet what was it? Let me find it. His words were to the effect that I was an evil, narcissistic, demonic teenager and I should keep my lies and falsehoods to myself and quit slandering you. Yet this person had never met me. How would he form that opinion? Because I haven't talked to him. Only you and Marion know him and talk to him in depth. So, who was it?
I believe that he addressed that. He talked to me about it, and he said he made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That when he saw James, he thought at first it was your dad.
Well, then I guess he shouldn't have jumped to hasty conclusions.
I'm not Isaac.
No.
I'm not Isaac. And he did talk to your father. He was jumping to a conclusion on someone he had talked to, not on you. And that was a mistake, and he did say so on the thread. And he changed it as soon as he realized the mistake.
Yes, he deleted his posts because he didn't want to look like someone who accused people falsely from someone who was supposed to be a neutral party.
I'm not sure if that's why he deleted them.
Well, you see, when you and Dad talked to him, he was supposed to be a neutral third party. But yet his comments and his accusations proved that he was not neutral. He was biased.
Okay, but Isaac is not the person. Like, he's not our relationship.
Yet you still talk to him and he supports you.
So, back to blocking you. It wasn't something that I wanted to do.
Yet
I
you did
don't-
it.
Yes, I did, because I felt it was best. I don't think that mudslinging on social media is the best way to mend a family. I think
Mhm.
that is best done through things like this.
Well, your actions proved that you didn't care to fix the family. You kind of made a sport of tearing it to pieces. What happened to my brothers? My little brothers, okay? When they're getting accused of sexually molesting their sisters, those are threats that you used to accuse me of
No,
when I
didn't.
threatened to talk to Dad
No,
to
I
keep me
didn't.
quiet. Yes, you did.
Okay, I don't.
Remember
I
that?
never thought that I never thought that you would do that. I don't think I would ever say anything like that. I definitely.
You said it.
No.
Yes, you
I-
did. And you also say that you don't remember things. You said that in the past multiple times.
That's something I would remember.
Really? Like calling me Troy when you were beating me?
I didn't do that.
I remember when I was 9 years old, I stepped on a nail and I cried out, right? And then you took me into the back room and you had a belt buckle and you hit me with it. Well, I think it was 9 or 10 times. And I was crying and I made a face while you were doing it. And then you did it again. Those are memories that are scarred right here, right in my head, that will stay there for the rest of my life because what you did. Okay? This is not something that we can just pretend never happened. And in order to move forward, we have to deal with things in the past. Also, when do you intend to pay me back for the money you stole/took? At the moment, it amounts to $600.
Why does it amount to $600?
Because that's the amount of money you took. With a 20% interest, it's $720.
I don't remember.
Taking money from me?
I remember that you gave me.
I
I remember that when I was leaving, you volunteered to give me. I think it was $200 or $300.
never
It
volunteered.
wasn't.
I remember you came to me and you said multiple times, and you said, hey, we need money for groceries. Dad'll pay you back. Yet when I talked to Dad about it, there was never, you never told him that you borrowed money from us. Okay? So that's $600 from me with a 20% interest. On top of that, that's $720. How much do you when do you plan on paying that back? Because that amounted to 60 hours of me busting my butt in the sun, sweating and working my ass off. That money had value to me. Okay. And also the fact that I can't get jobs in town now or around there because certain rumors got started and ran around that I was a thief, that I stole things, that I did drugs. Now, who started those rumors and who profits from it? Because I don't profit from them.
Okay, I would never say anything like that about you.
Well,
I don't. I've tried to tell people that you're a hard worker, and I actually ran into someone recently who said that they'd like your help,
yeah, well, Mom,
and they were local.
forgive me if I don't believe you because our name has been dragged through the mud. You know, people that I knew for 7 years and I worked with multiple times, they turn their head and they walk away from me and they don't talk to me. Now I can't help but wonder why is that? Because I haven't done anything. None of us have. None of us deserve that.
I understand you being angry.
No, I'm not angry. I'm pissed because people that I had a credible relationship with, a professional relationship with, I lost that. I lost my respect. Okay? So how do you explain that? Why would they do that to me?
I don't know.
Really?
Really don't.
What let them draw that conclusion then?
Have they told you it was because of me?
No, but it started right after you left. And let's see, the rumors flying around that Dad anally raped you multiple times. Those are just awesome when people start giving us the daggers in the store. Won't talk to us. Ending friendships that I had. I've had to build new friendships with people that you couldn't influence, that you couldn't lie to. You have no idea what it felt like being treated like shit the whole time. 'Cause that's how you treated me.
I didn't mean to treat you in a way that made you feel like that.
But you did. Actions speak louder than words. I can say I'm sorry, but if I don't mean it, then I don't mean it, and it holds no credibility, no meaning.
There were times when we would have
Knockdown,
difference.
drag out fights, like the time when I stopped you from
When you
beating the
interrupted, when
boys.
I interrupted you, I apologized and stopped.
I'm trying to make myself hear. Hey,
Okay, go ahead.
So,
let me know.
the little boys, let's see, it was when Ahava was here, and they'd done something. I forget what it was. I think her kids were whining about how they picked on them, right? Something to that effect. And you were ready to take the boys out to the woodshed and paddle their backs. And I stepped in and I said, oh, and whose say-so do we have this on? Whose proof? Other than someone just whining, claiming he was mistreated. I remember after they left, you yelled at me for an hour and a half about how I had no right to interrupt you. How I had no right at all to voice my opinion. This isn't the first time. It wasn't the last.
May I speak? I'm glad you have opinions, and
Yes,
you're
sir.
a very intelligent young man. At that moment, I didn't feel that the way that you were expressing those opinions was very polite, and you were very critical of Ahava and said that she didn't discipline her children well enough. And I happened to have been outside and I had watched that she actually was going at that moment to discipline them for how they had acted. And I think we had a disagreement. When you raise your voice at me or used attitude, I did do the same thing. And I have done many things that I don't think were exactly right and that I'm not proud of as
Name
far
them.
as raising my voice to you.
Yeah, that was...
And are you wanting to say something?
Oh, I'm listening.
There were times that I did discipline too excessively. I strove to never use anything like a belt buckle on you. So I'm confused as to that story, but I do know that and I do admit that there were times when you were younger that I did discipline you too excessively, and it was wrong, and I am sorry.
Well, I remember the words, I'm sorry, all the time when I was younger. And those words lost all meaning because when Granddad says, good job, you did a good job, I actually earned those. But when you said, good job, I love you, sorry, you said them so many times they lost all credibility and all meaning because you didn't mean them in a way that was good. You only did it to appease people. Okay?
How do you know my heart?
Well, I don't know your heart, but I know your actions, and I know how you acted around people, and I know how you acted when we were alone.
Shall I not try to parent my children in private more so than in front of people? I didn't strive to embarrass you.
Yeah, well, you did a whole lot. Making me feel like shit in front of my bosses, right? I remember, we were bucking hay, and I said something that Marion didn't like, and she came back and she told on me. And then you browbeated me for 45 minutes over that one because I spoke out of turn. That's what happened.
Specific instances that, there's one that I remember. There was a time when John Philon was over, and you were joking around, but in the way that you were joking around with him, I felt you were belittling him. And as your mother, I tried to say gently that, that I thought you should stop because he was your elder and I thought you should be more respectful. And I do remember that moment was embarrassing to you, because I did try to.
You interfered on a subject you knew nothing about.
I do know about disrespecting people and joking in a way that is disrespectful. I do know about that. I'm an adult. I've been around a while. And I realize that you may have liked me to handle it a different way.
Or not at all, because it didn't involve you. It was between John Philon and myself. And we have you ever heard the term bullshitting with people? That's what he does to me. That's what I did to him. And it's how he treat me and it's how I treat him. And there was no disrespect there, because I have nothing but respect for John Philon. He's been a friend through all of this, and he's helped multiple times.
Good.
When he didn't need to. He's gone out of the way. Whereas Wayne and Barbara haven't. Ray and Delinda haven't. And I can't help but wonder why, because I've worked for Ray multiple times. When he had chemo, I didn't charge him for taking care of his animals. Right? I never received a thank you or anything. I can't help but wonder why they stopped talking to me, because it wasn't something I did, but it started right after you left. I think I've talked to Ray one time. That was in passing. Now, why would people that I've known for over 5 years stop talking to me?
Can we go back to John Philon for a moment?
No, I'd like this one answered, and then we can go back to John Philon. Why?
I don't know for certain because I'm not inside other people's heads. Delinda and I are friends, Barbara and I are friends, and I have shared some of the things with them that have been difficult for me, as friends do. When you're going through hard times, do you tell your friends about what's going on with me?
I don't have any friends because you ruined that for me. I've had to make new ones that knew nothing about this.
Well, I understand, but with your new friends, do you tell them about your life?
No, I don't. Because I told you about my life, and you used that against me. You knew everything about me, and you used that against me. How I always tried to impress my bosses, and you'd make me look like a fool in front of Jean, in front of Ruth, in front of John, in front of Wayne, in front of Ray. Hey, people that I worked hard to impress made me look like an idiot in front of them. On purpose, it seemed. And it wasn't one occasion, it was multiple times.
I'm sorry that you felt that way.
It's not how I felt.
And
It's the actions that were taken.
I understand that it must be very, very hard to not have friends. I actually know a little bit of what that's like. And my intention was not to take your friends from you.
But you did it still the same.
And with your bosses, I did not intend to
Ruin
embarrass
that.
you with them. I tried to be supportive. I tell people, even to this day, what a hard worker you are.
Well, when it comes from you, it's...
You said that because I said things often, they have no meaning. perhaps I just express often the things that mean most to me.
Well, that may be a way for you, but that certainly doesn't seem the way for me. When you want someone to understand how important they are to you, you don't tell them all the time, because that just seems like you're bullshitting them and lying to them. You tell them in matters of importance, how much you rely on them, how much they mean to you, and that proves it. Your actions speak louder than words. It's something I can't stress enough.
I do agree with you that actions are very important. And I believe that there were a lot of positive actions in our relationship. Things did get more tense as you became a teenager.
You mean ever since you started using me as a vent to take out your anger with Dad? Every time Dad left for a show, and you were mad about something, or you were having a bad day because one of your friends called and was having a bad day, and then you had the bad day and their day got better, you'd use us as your whipping post. Is the person you'd take out your anger on. I remember.
There were times.
There were times.
There were times. May I speak, or would you just like to continue?
Go ahead.
Will you look at me?
No, because you used to make me stare at you while you were yelling at me and beating me.
There were times when I was angry that instead of focusing my anger where it should have been, I did become more agitated with you and the other children. And that was wrong, and I admit that that was wrong.
I would suggest you look up Marshall Rosenberg, Nonviolent Communication.
Thank you.
Because if you can't express yourself without losing your temper, then you shouldn't be expressing yourself at all. That's something I've learned.
That's wonderful. I'm glad that you've learned that. Do you...
Let's praise again.
What?
Nothing.
Have you been doing well with, have you gotten new jobs? You said you were not working in the area as much. Are you having success other places?
I'm taking a business trip this next weekend. I'm going to Reno.
Well, that'll be fun. Maybe you can go to that place Dad took me to. It was like all you can eat sushi. Do you like sushi?
I'd tell you, but I'm afraid you'd use it against me as you have in the past. Things that were of little importance, just things that meant a lot to me were used against me. And that's something I don't want to divulge, because
Okay, I understand. That's
if
fine.
I divulge things that mean lots to me, they'll be taken away from me.
I understand if you don't want to share whether you like it or not. That's fine. I just was trying to make conversation.
I find it hard to make conversation with the accusations that happened to the boys. They sexually molested their little sisters, and then the rumors start flying around town that the boys sexually molested their sisters. How did that happen?
James, I did not have anything to do with that information.
Getting out, getting to the wrong people, flying around town.
I haven't told details.
You haven't, but it still got out, still the same.
I was ambiguous. And little towns make up stories sometimes. to go along with one little piece of information.
And how would that information have gotten out? Because it can ruin someone's life forever.
I agree.
And how to get out.
I just told you that I did tell a couple of people, but I did not tell details.
Mm-hmm. Did Marion tell details? Because I know she loves gossip.
Mm.
Also, one of the things that's been annoying and troublesome for me is you saying we stole things from your van. I've never been inside your van. Okay? If trash falls out on the driveway and you don't pick it up and we pick it up, whose fault is it?
It was difficult for me to understand how those CDs might fall out.
Oh, like I'm on the videos when trash is just pouring out of your rig.
I knew where the DVDs were.
That's interesting.
But I do agree that with little kids in the car, there's often things that fall out when we open doors.
Then you should have picked it up.
Our meetings have been quite hostile, and I will admit that when I pick up the girls, or
How
when I
have they
drop
been
them off.
hostile?
What? I'm sorry, I was talking and I couldn't hear you.
How have they been hostile? Has any of us sworn at you?
Yes.
Have I sworn at you?
No.
Has Rebecca sworn at you?
Have you dismissed me and told me I can go now?
Yeah.
Have you attacked me and accused me of things?
Name time. What was the topic?
I'd have to look back, but there were times when you seemed to be very angry at me.
Like the time when you trespassed on the property? This isn't just one time, this is multiple times.
That's marital property, it's my property.
Actually not, it's owned in a trust, and you're not on the trust.
I was on the trust when I left. This is a different trust, obviously. Did Dad talk to you about it? I don't think that I've talked to you about it.
You could talk to the attorney about it, but you claiming that it was your property?
Would you like me to rephrase it differently?
Sure.
I've lived there for the whole time until I left. And I know how it was paid for. And I know the trust. And I know my name was on it. And
Like your name was on your mother's trust? Or your father's trust? Yes, it was your father's trust. Yet she embezzled money from it. And you didn't seem to care.
so what you're saying is that I should care about Mom taking things from the trust that I'm on, and I shouldn't care about other people taking from the trust that I was on?
I'm just
In another
wondering
trust?
where
I-
it connects.
I'm wondering too, because if I should care about what my mother did, then I should also care about what your father and did with his father. And that's something that will work out in court. That's something that the judge will have to decide about.
Yep.
But
Happy
do
thoughts.
you see what I'm saying though about,
Not really.
okay, so I was on a trust,
Mm-hmm.
and the accusation is that Mom took money from the trust. I was on a trust with Dad, and now my name's not on it. I think that those sound really similar about things that I should be concerned about.
Well, then you can deal with that in court. But what?
Okay,
I've got a question as to
okay.
why is Grandma so chummy with you, yet she's not chummy with us? We are her grandchildren, after all. Explain that one, please.
You know how sometimes you have good relationships with people, and sometimes you have bad relationships with people, and then those people kind of have influence on the other people, and so you don't hang out with a group of people in the middle of an argument because you don't want to get in the middle of the argument. Maybe you don't have anything against the people in the middle of the argument, but you're afraid about getting in the middle of it.
People who ride the fence often get sore crotches because it's not safe to ride the fence. You either choose a side and you're for someone, or you choose a side and you're against someone. A choosing to be a neutral party means you should be a neutral party. Right? And that didn't exactly explain it because it sounded kind of here, there, everywhere. So.
She's my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to be there for her daughter.
What about her
But
grandchildren?
she did talk to you about wanting to see you, but that she felt that right now it would be contraindicated.
Actions speak louder than words.
She's spoken with her actions for a long time. You see, every time money was tight and I couldn't pay bills and I would call her, she would loan us money so that we could pay the bills. And she's done that since before you were born until approximately 4 years ago. And so her actions have been very loud about how much she cares about us.
Yeah, like when she accused us of having Ebola.
What?
Like when she said we couldn't come over to her place because we might have Ebola. I believe it was in fall and it was too cold anyway because anything under 32 degrees, Ebola goes into hibernation. So therefore it cannot come out.
I understand. And I think that perhaps it was an excuse because of other things.
Name?
Hunting.
Yeah, thanks for turning me into the game wardens, by the way. Sucks when one of them walks up and says, you know, I'm sorry that your mom turned you in. We've been through divorces, we know how it goes. I'm sorry about that.
I believe it's important to follow the laws of the land. And I didn't want you to get into more trouble.
But you felt just fine turning me in. That action right there is damn near unforgivable. Because, you know, that's a violation of a trust. Trust between two people. You drop the dime. You know, I remember a word you used to tell us, snitches get stitches or something like that. Those were words you used.
I
You
remember
snitched
your
on
father
us.
using words similar to that.
Oh, well, I remember you used them. Loyalty,